They started the game with a half-fit centre-half, Johnny Evans. No wonder the back line was all over the place. He was dropping off. He wasn't fit. They started the game, and they've played recently without James Justin. I mentioned they've had Maddison out injured, right? They've changed the shape of the team. They've gone to a back three. They've started playing two up front quite a while ago. Iheanacho found his form. He's been able to utilise his squad. I think he's managed it absolutely brilliantly. I think he deserves this. I don't think there's many critics out there, and I've changed my opinion in a sense. I always thought he would be looking to jump ship. And I think he will move eventually, but it looks to me that he's in no particular rush.
No. Like, for example, why would you go to Spurs, for example?
Yeah, exactly. And I think maybe some of us, and myself included, just think Tottenham or Arsenal or somebody comes available, somebody like Brendan Rodgers will just jump. And we do see that happening now and again, but I'm just thinking, like, maybe advising a young player to stay at a club a year or two longer, that he's thinking, do you know what, I'm going to wait and see what I can build on what we already have, particularly if they finish off the job in the Premier League this season like they should do, and they play in Europe's elite competition next year. I mean, how much better does it get than that after winning the FA Cup, to know that you're going to be going in to the Champions League and test yourself once again at that level? I don't see any major reason at the moment for him to be looking to jump ship.
Meanwhile, for Chelsea, Thomas Tuchel, of course, no wrong really since he took over the Blues in January. They have, we've seen like come throughout the season, they have struggled to score lots of goals, but they've been tight at the back, and that's what has been the key to their success. Jurgen, where did he get it wrong, if indeed he did get it wrong today?
Well, obviously, if you lose the game, then there were a couple of things that went wrong. And we discussed it before the game. We were so surprised that Christian Pulisic was not starting the game. He did really well last couple of weeks. I think there was not enough attacking power in the side starting it off. And then he threw everybody in the last 20-25 minutes. And actually, the dynamic of the game changed. They almost equalized. Obviously, it was a very tight offside situation there, but I think he should have been a little bit more courageous from the beginning on. You know, having more players going forward. Azpilicueta, obviously, Azpi is not a right winger. He's not a right winger. He's a right back. You know, so he found himself there in the right winger position that is not his really. I think there are probably, when you look back as a manager now and you kind of wrap it up again this game, and he has only a couple of days because obviously he still play Premier League and he still has a very, very important Champions League final ahead of him. But he will realize that a couple of things that he thought were the right things didn't work out, and now he has time to correct it, and it will be interesting to see the next few games by Chelsea.
Frank, what frustrated you from a Chelsea point of view the most today?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said. Can you repeat, please?
What frustrated you the most from a Chelsea perspective today, Frank?
The fact that they slow down the game. When they go, they're okay until the last third of the pitch, and then they go around. They think too much. They just think too much. That's my concern there. Well, should I do that? Should I go there? At the end of the day, you do nothing. Because if you start thinking and you're not intuitive, you don't do that. After, I think Alonso was a bad choice as well. I think Chilwell should have played at first and should have been lined up to start, because he can bring more defensively and also bring something offensively that doesn't bring Alonso. He can free the space, where Alonso takes the space and doesn't free it. That's the main concern for me. And what did Chilwell at the end of the game? I don't think Alonso is able to do it when they scored the goal that he was disallowed. And maybe he could have done that many times. It's my concern. And still, I think Tuchel made too long to make the substitution as well. Where, as Jurgen mentioned, Pulisic maybe should have whether start or go on earlier, I think. That's my problem. My problem has always been the problem that I have with Chelsea this season. They don't score enough goals. With the talent that they have, there is a problem finding the solution to be in position to score goals.
I think when you always look back at a team and a manager after a game, and you look about sometimes people trying to, and I think Frank has touched on this a few times, it's just too much trying to overthink.
Right.
You look at the Azpilicueta and Reece James scenario. Now, Azpilicueta has been playing quite a bit recently as a wing-back. But if you're going to have the two of them in the same side, and I know he played Reece James, we believe, because he wanted to combat the threat in behind and use his pace. But Azpilicueta is one of the most solid defenders in Europe.
Yeah.
And he's quick enough, and he's not the biggest. Might not defend the back post as well, but he's pretty good. And on the other hand, you then diminish the attacking threat, because Chelsea got nothing literally from wide areas today, right? Everything was sort of through the middle, and that eventually suited Leicester. Mount and Ziyech and Narrow, and so that kind of played into the hands. But you think about it, you've got a young guy at 19 years old, or I believe he's 19, Luke Thomas, and what a day that must have been for the boy, playing left back, left wing back for Leicester, and yet you don't have a really good attacking full-back, stroke wing-back in Reece James running at him, putting him under pressure. And listen, when you play against teams, and I don't want to be horrible, but you pick, look, he's inexperienced, he's 19, he'll be absolutely a nervous wreck.
Right.
Because you want to win the game, let's go and play on him, right? Where's your weak point? Where can we get at them? I'm not saying the young man's a bad player, he's not. He's come off the back of scoring a great goal at Old Trafford, a wonder goal. But defensively, he's still learning the game. And as Jurgen said, Azpilicueta, he'll run all day and he'll defend all day, but he can really only keep the ball simple, passing. He's not going to get down the wing, and Reece James can whip brilliant balls in, right? But he's not going to do it from right wing back. And I just feel that was, I get it, what he was trying to do with Reece James there, but I think that's a classic case of overthinking the situation.
Luis, what do you think?
Exactly, I'm with the guys. I mean, I couldn't agree more. I think that when you are a manager, and I'm not going to say much things about, of course, Tuchel, because he showed us how good he is managing this kind of situation, how he did for Chelsea. But it's true that when they arrived at halftime, we all agreed that he needed something different. He needed a change. He needed, if it is not 45 minutes, after 5 minutes, because you can see that you are not breaking the lines of Leicester. I think Brendan Rodgers read very good what Tuchel wanted to do, everything into the middle. So I'm going to put a lot of people in the middle and leave the flanks. And like Craig was saying, you got James in the as a centre back, and you got Azpilicueta. Just make a change, just swap it. There is not a big change, but James is going to give you something else. So it's something that you can start from the after halftime without doing any change. And after you bring the players like Pulisic, players who you're going to need, because you need to break those lines. And with so many people, you need people who go one-to-one that can break in something different, that can create something special. And I think that's Pulisic. And you take too much time to put it on the field. And after you want to bring everything, people are tall in the air, Hudson-Odoi in the right side to try to crosses, but you are already too late because you got a one goal. And Brendan, it was just putting more people in the middle because everything was trying to go through the middle. So it's easy to talk when everything is finished and you can analyze a little bit, but I think he should have get into what it was happening during the game, adapt quicker to the situation, and make a couple of good changes. Because, for example, another one, it was Jorginho was playing so slow into the field, and you need a little bit quicker to move the ball to side if you want to move that defense of Leicester. So it's a few things that I think that Tuchel could have managed better, but of course it's easier now that we've seen the result.
It's the first of 4 huge games for Chelsea, of course, still looking to book a place in the Champions League next season. They face Leicester on Tuesday. Did that play on his mind, do you think, in that team selection?
Well, I'm guessing. I don't know. I don't think it should have been. I think you got to worry about the big important game now, and then brush everybody down at the end. If you listen, injuries are part of, and being tired is part of playing football. You know, put your best side out and brush them down after the game, and then see who's ready to go again in 2 or 3 days' time. He didn't do that, and that's why I'm saying. Look, there's a lot of games, I understand, and sometimes you have to think about rotating, but not in an FA Cup final. You know what I mean? You've got to take care of business first. and they didn't do that today.
But do you think that he put that team out because he think that team could beat Leicester as opposed to that being his best team?
Oh, there's no doubt he thought that team could beat Leicester, otherwise he wouldn't have selected it. But it's not his best team.
Right.
And the two can't go hand in hand. And he's got it wrong. It's as simple as that. And I don't know. I just think sometimes we're overcomplicating it. Once again,
Craig.
Werner's ineffective. Ziyech has had a troubled season. He's injured at the start and he's ineffective. I just think one manager got it wrong, and the other manager didn't have that many choices.
Sure.
He was forced into making decisions, Brendan Rodgers, in the end, but he didn't have the choices that Tuchel had. And I think in the end, Tuchel juggled the balls and ended up dropping half of them.
Is it Frank?
Yes, just an example of a statement, in fact, that he didn't put down the best team. We all consider that Mendy is the best goalkeeper than Kepa. On the other side, Brendan Rodgers didn't hesitate on putting Schmeichel in the FA Cup final. I don't know, it's a fantastic shot from Tielemans, but I think maybe, supposedly, Mendy could have been able to get it.
Wow.
And maybe the substitute of Schmeichel couldn't get the man shot, and it would have been a different result. So, yes, I think you have to put down the best team you have for an FA Cup final. And he didn't. He didn't.
Luis, your fellow countryman being blamed for Chelsea losing the FA Cup final. Kepa should have saved that, Frank says.
Yeah, of course. At the moment you start to point everywhere. Who are the ones who got it wrong? And I think it's very difficult to say that. Yeah, it's true that the Mendy is stronger, he's a little bit taller. So he could have saved it, but I think that Tielemans did well, and we have to give a lot of credit and not try to blame the keeper because it's a fantastic strike from far away, so difficult to save.
Jurgen,
I didn't blame the goalkeeper.
I know. They're trying to blame.
I blame Tuchel. That's Dan Thomas. That's Thomas doing his job badly. That's it.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.